Welcome to Chapter 3 of the Pre-Algebra program. This first section is entitled the Distributive Property, and this whole section is dedicated to just various uses of the distributive property. So it's pretty simple. It's utilizing some skills that we've learned in the previous two chapters, but hopefully you'll get lots of practice and it will come pretty easy to you. So let's just jump right in and do some examples. So the distributive property simply means to distribute what's on the outside of the parentheses to everything inside the parentheses. So my first set of examples are going to use just numbers, so you get a feel for this. But basically it means everything inside the parentheses is going to be multiplied times 2. So we'll have 2 times 8 plus, I'm going to bring down this sign, 2 times 3. And then I can actually do this multiplication and then add for my final answer. Our distribution of the 2 was the utilization of the distributive property. Let's do another one. What if I have 3 times the quantity 6 plus 1? I'm going to distribute the 3. So I get 3 times 6. I'm going to carry down this plus sign. 3 times 1. Do my multiplication. And then finish with my adding. Now I'm able to add for these final numbers here because what I'm left with was just 2 numbers and it was easy to put them together. But in just a minute I'm going to show you some examples of things that you cannot add together. And so our answers are going to look a little bit different. Okay, what happens if I have the number I need to distribute on the other side? Well, multiplication is commutative, which means the order doesn't matter. And so I can just go ahead and do the same thing. Carry down the plus sign. And then do our multiplication. Okay, I'm going to do one more example for you. This one's going to have some negatives in it, just to give us a little bit of experience with the negatives. Okay, again, I'm going to distribute this -5. And now I'm bringing down this sign here. 9 times a -5. 5 times -5 is -25. Minus 9 times -5, which is -45. Now we have the situation we had last chapter when we have 2 negatives together without a number separating them. They negate each other and we end up adding 45. So -25 plus 45 is a +20. Okay, those are all examples where we just dealt with numbers. What happens if I throw some letters in there? Okay, I'm still distributing this 3, just like I learned. But now I have this 3 times x. And that makes me feel a little uncomfortable, but it's okay. We're just going to simply write it as 3x, and it implies the multiplication there. And then I'm going to bring down my plus, and then this was 3 times 7, and I know 3 times 7 is 21. Now this is my answer for an expression with a variable. I cannot combine the 3x and the 21 because the 3x has a variable in it. The terms do not look the same, so I cannot add them together. So just remember that when you are simplifying these expressions. We're going to work more with adding like terms tomorrow in the next section, so don't get too caught up on that quite yet. You'll get lots of practice at it tomorrow. Okay, let's do another example. -5y plus 4. Let's distribute. negative 5 times y, bring down my plus, negative 5 times 4. Negative 5 times y is just negative 5y, plus negative 5 times 4 is a negative 20. And do you remember this scenario from last chapter? A positive and a negative go negative. So this will be minus 20. Okay, let me throw another example over here. There's lots of space, so want to use it up. Let's do the quantity m minus 6 times negative 3. And we're going to distribute negative 3 times m, bring down my minus sign, and then negative 3 times 6. Negative 3m, just as written as negative 3m, bring down the minus, and then negative 3 times 6 is negative 18. Now we have two negatives. Do you remember two negatives negate each other and go positive? All right. I think that should be sufficient for you in terms of various examples. There's several more examples in the book. I want you to finish up your notes, read through the section and the examples, and begin the assignment.